Countdown to top 10 secrets governments don't want you to know. Can you guess what is number 1? Stay tuned until the very end. For centuries, governments around the world have been trusted to serve their people, to protect them, and to guide them toward prosperity. However, there's always been a darker side to governance, an undercurrent of secrecy and intrigue that suggests some things are kept hidden from the public. Whether to maintain control, prevent chaos, or safeguard sensitive information, governments have often been accused of concealing vital truths. Some of these allegations have been debunked, while others have fueled conspiracy theories that persist to this day. Here's a countdown of the top 10 secrets governments don't want you to know, a list of potential hidden truths and conspiracy theories that have captivated the imaginations of many. 10. Operation Northwoods, the proposed false flag operation. In 1962, the U.S. Department of Defense and the Joint Chiefs of Staff proposed Operation Northwoods, a covert plan that involved committing acts of terrorism against U.S. citizens and military personnel, then blaming. The aim was to justify a U.S. invasion of Cuba during the height of Cold War tensions. The plan, which included ideas like hijacking planes and sinking boats, was ultimately rejected by President Kennedy. However, the mere fact that such an operation was considered fuels the belief that governments sometimes plan false flag operations to manipulate public opinion. This raises questions about how often governments may resort to unethical or immoral means to achieve their political objectives, especially in times of international conflict. 9. The UFO cover-up, Roswell and beyond. The 1947 Roswell incident remains one of the most famous examples of a potential government cover-up involving unidentified flying objects UFOs. The U.S. government initially claimed that a flying disc had crashed, only to later retract that statement, explaining it was a weather balloon. Over the years, witnesses and supposed whistleblowers have come forward, suggesting that extraterrestrial materials and possibly even alien bodies were recovered from the crash site. Beyond Roswell, numerous UFO sightings and alleged government investigations, such as Project Blue Book and the more recent Pentagon's Advanced Aerospace Threat Identification Program (ATIP), have fueled speculation that the government knows more about extraterrestrial life than it lets on. Public pressure has led to the release of some classified information, but many believe that the full truth remains hidden. If true, this would not only rewrite our understanding of the universe but also raise concerns about why such monumental information is kept from the public. 8. MKUltra, mind control experiments. In the 1950s and 1960s, the CIA embarked on Project MKUltra, a secret program aimed at discovering methods of mind control, interrogation techniques, and psychological manipulation. The project involved unwitting participants being subjected to drugs like LSD, electroshock therapy, and hypnosis. Some of these experiments resulted in long-term mental health issues or death. The existence of MKUltra was revealed during congressional hearings in the 1970s, but many of the documents related to the project were destroyed. This has led to ongoing speculation about the extent of the program, its true purpose, and whether similar experiments continue today. The revelation that the government would secretly conduct such experiments on its own citizens has led to deep distrust in intelligence agencies and concerns about ongoing covert psychological operations. 7. Chemtrails, manipulating the weather. The chemtrail conspiracy theory suggests that the white trails left behind by aircraft are not simply condensation, but contain chemicals intentionally sprayed into the atmosphere by governments. These chemicals, according to believers, are used for purposes like weather modification, population control, or even biological warfare. While mainstream scientists argue that these trails are merely chemtrails, formed by water vapor and aircraft exhaust, some continue to believe that governments are manipulating the environment for undisclosed purposes. Projects like Operation Popeye, a U.S. government initiative during the Vietnam War to induce rain in enemy territories, have only fueled these suspicions. If governments are indeed capable of controlling the weather, it raises ethical questions about who holds such power and how it might be misused. 6. HAARP, controlling the atmosphere. The High-Frequency Active Auroral Research Program HAARP, established in Alaska in the early 1990s, has been the subject of numerous conspiracy theories. Officially, HAARP was designed to study the ionosphere and improve radio communication, but many believe it has more sinister purposes. Some conspiracy theorists claim that HAARP is a tool for weather manipulation, causing earthquakes or controlling human behavior through electromagnetic waves. Although scientists involved with the project have denied these claims, the facility's remote location and the technical complexity of its research have left room for suspicion. If true, HAARP would represent an unprecedented level of control over natural and potentially even human systems, raising ethical concerns about the limits of scientific experimentation. 5. The New World Order, a global conspiracy. The concept of a New World Order (NW) is perhaps one of the most pervasive government-related conspiracy theories. Believers claim that a secretive global elite is working behind the scenes to establish a totalitarian one-world government. Proponents of this theory often point to influential groups like the Bilderberg Group, Freemasons, and the Illuminati as being involved in orchestrating this agenda. Many high-profile political and financial figures have been linked to the NW in conspiracy circles, with accusations that they manipulate global events such as wars, financial crises, and pandemics to increase their control over the world's population. The fear of a secretive global elite undermining democratic institutions contributes to widespread distrust of governments and fuels anti-establishment movements. 4. Big Brother surveillance, government spying on citizens. With the rise of digital technology, concerns about government surveillance have reached new heights. Programs like the National Security Agency's initiative, revealed by whistleblower Edward Snowden in 2013, exposed the extent to which governments monitor their citizens. PRISM allowed the NSA to collect data from major tech companies, including emails, chats, and voice calls, under the guise of national security. Governments worldwide have also been implicated in using facial recognition technology, mass data collection, and social media monitoring to track individuals without their knowledge or consent. The expansion of government surveillance programs raises serious questions about privacy rights and the balance between security and personal freedom in the modern world. 3. The moon landing hoax, was it staged? One of the most enduring conspiracy theories involves the 1969 Apollo 11 moon landing. Some believe that the US government, desperate to win the space race against the Soviet Union, staged the moon landing in a Hollywood studio. They point to supposed inconsistencies in the footage, such as the waving American flag, the lack of stars in the sky, and peculiar shadows. While scientists and space experts have debunked these claims with logical explanations, a portion of the public remains convinced that the moon landing was a hoax, orchestrated to boost US national pride during the Cold War. If the moon landing were faked, it would represent one of the most elaborate and successful deceptions in history, calling into question other major achievements claimed by governments. 2. The assassination of JFK, a lone gunman or government conspiracy. The assassination of President John F. Kennedy in 1963 has been the subject of numerous conspiracy theories. While the official investigation concluded that Lee Harvey Oswald acted alone, many believe there was a broader conspiracy involving the US government, the mafia, or even foreign powers. Key pieces of evidence, such as the Zapruder film, the controversial magic bullet theory, and conflicting witness testimonies, have led to widespread doubt about the official narrative. Some believe that powerful individuals within the government wanted Kennedy dead due to his policies on issues like the Vietnam War, civil rights, and the Federal Reserve. If JFK's assassination was indeed the result of a government conspiracy, it would reveal deep-rooted corruption at the highest levels of power, shaking public trust in democratic institutions. 1. 9/11's inside job or foreign terrorist attack. The terrorist attacks of September 11, 2001, remain one of the most devastating events in modern history. While the official story attributes the attacks to Al-Qaeda, some believe that elements within the US government either knew about the attacks beforehand or were complicit in orchestrating them to justify wars in the Middle East and expand domestic surveillance. Proponents of the 9/11's conspiracy theory point to anomalies in the collapse of the World Trade Center buildings, reports of insider trading before the attacks, and the lack of a clear explanation for the collapse of World Trade Center Building 7. While mainstream experts reject these claims, the enduring belief that the government was involved persists among certain groups. If true, this would suggest that the government is willing to sacrifice its citizens to further geopolitical and economic interests, a terrifying notion that would forever alter the relationship between governments and their people. While many of these conspiracy theories remain unproven or have been outright debunked, They reflect deep-seated concerns about the transparency and accountability of governments. Whether these secrets represent actual cover-ups or simply the product of public distrust, one thing is clear: the desire for truth remains strong. In a world where information is both more accessible and more controlled than ever before, the fine line between fact and fiction.
If you love diving into today's video, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and join our growing community. Stay in the loop with our weekly uploads full of fascinating facts and mind-blowing trivia. Like, share, and spread the knowledge with your friends. Let's explore the world together.